Hello and welcome to Crypt of Life Tales. I wanted to, before I started this video, we all know about the recent passing of NBA superstar Kobe Bryant, aka Black Mamba, and his daughter Gianna, aka Gigi. And on my other channel, Project Mentality, I did a tribute video to them. So I will leave the link in the description box below, and just check it out if you're a Kobe fan, or if you want to look through some flashbacks through the 20 years he's been in the NBA, as well as some family moments as well with his daughters. So touching. So my heart goes out to his family, definitely.
For nearly 4 years, Lori Davis has run the website findbrianshaffer.com. She never knew him, never met him, never saw him. She just felt she needed to do something.
It totally shocked me that someone could just disappear, that you could go out with friends and never be seen again. And it just tugged at me, so I wanted to contact the family and see what I could do to help. So
every day, she checks the blogs, the messages, and the tips that come to the site, wondering what everyone in Central Ohio has wondered. How did someone who's here at the Ugly Tuna Saloona 1 minute suddenly just disappear, leaving an equal number of guesses? Was Brian Shaffer killed, or did he run away? There are countless theories and tips. Psychics who say he's in a river, the sign language for love Brian appears to be making in many of his pictures. Do they mean something to someone? But after all this time, they have all led to the same conclusion. Brian Shaffer, the OSU med student who would be 31 years old now, is missing. Somebody somewhere knows where Brian Shaffer is, and they know if he's dead or they know if he's alive. You do not just disappear.
Something terrible happened.
I truly do.
It's a mystery with tantalizing clues on tape. 1 minute, this young man was a grainy image on a surveillance video. The next minute, he was gone, and police are baffled.
All the tips that we've received thus far has turned into nothing.
And one student is living a nightmare until another student is found.
I want him home. You know, I want to see him every day.
She's talking about 27-year-old Brian Shaffer, a second-year medical student who seemed to have everything going for him. Good looks, good grades, and a girlfriend he adored. Awesome and amazing is how he described Alexis Wagoner on his MySpace profile. And she says the same about him.
It's brilliant. He's handsome, he's sweet and loyal and caring.
Like Brian, Alexis is in second-year med school. Like Brian, she's super smart and striking. The two were inseparable. They'd planned a trip to Florida for spring break, and they had even bigger plans.
Are you convinced he's the guy?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, pretty much since day one, I really thought of him as kind of the love of my life.
Want to get married?
Yeah.
It was early in the morning on Saturday, April 1st. Brian had been out bar hopping with a friend from school. The evening began about 9 p.m. when Brian met up with his friend Clint Florence. The two were former roommates and drinking buddies. That Friday was supposed to be just another night out, as Clint told MSNBC's Rita Cosby.
Me and Brian always went out. There's nothing new. Sat down, opened a tab, and, had 3, 4, 5 shots of liquor.
Alexis, visiting her family for the weekend, was checking in by phone and called Brian at 10 p.m.
Did he sound at all concerned when you talked with him Friday night?
Nope.
He wasn't worried on the phone?
Nope.
Did he sound down, depressed in any way?
He sounded fine.
After Brian and Alexis spoke, Clint told the police that he and Brian walked to some more bars and downed some more shots. And then, with a friend of Clint's in tow, ended the night at the bar where they'd started. This surveillance tape shows them at 1:15 a.m. coming up the escalator to the bar. That's Brian leaning on the handrail. Once inside, they ran into a couple of young women Clint knew.
And Brian was doing his usual thing and was talking to those two girls.
At 1:55 a.m., Brian made his final appearance on the video. He was outside the bar chatting with the young women. Then he walked out of frame and disappeared. Police say it appears he went back into the bar. Minutes later, Clint and his friend got ready to go.
It was closing time about 2:10, 2 o'clock, and Brian was nowhere to be seen.
They told police they called Brian's cell and got no answer, even checked the bathroom, but no luck.
Led a team spearheaded by former NYPD detectives on an investigation that spanned across 25 cities in 11 states. The alleged victims make up a distinct profile. Retired Detective Kevin Gannon notes the alleged victims are generally white males around the ages of 20 to 26. Most flourished within academics and sports in college. Number 3, it could be the work of multiple killers. Instead of the work of a single person, Gannon believes it could be a network of killers. He says he views them as a structured, organized, gang-like group with cells throughout the United States. Number 4, the team of investigators in the series believe the alleged slayings occurred in clusters. Gannon's team claims to have connected at least 40 of those deaths in what they consider regional clusters throughout the United States.
27-year-old Brian Shaffer disappeared on April Fool's Day, 2006. The Ohio State Medical School student decided to go to, in Columbus, Ohio, the Ugly Tuna Saloon with his friends on that night of April Fool's. While enjoying a final round of drinks, Brian somehow was separated from his friends. After the bar closed, his friends were waiting outside for him, and he never came outside of the bar. His friends thought that perhaps Brian left with someone. The following Monday morning, he failed to arrive for a flight that he and his girlfriend had planned to take to Miami for spring break, where she thought he might propose. After that, Brian was declared missing. An entrance camera showed Brian entering the Ugly Tuna Saloon around 1:15 a.m. April Fool's night, but not leaving. Another camera showed he hadn't slipped out an emergency exit either. When police began their search of the Ugly Tuna Saloon bar, there were a number of cameras in and surrounding the bar due to the fact that the bar was located in a quote-unquote bad neighborhood. On the security footage, Brian was seen standing outside the bar shortly before 2 o'clock a.m. talking to a pair of women. Then the camera showed him walking towards the bar entrance. That was the last time he was seen in the video footage. The bar had no accessible way out except for a service door and out the back that led to a construction site. Police searched through security camera footage from several other nearby establishments to try to determine if and how Brian left the Ugly Tuna Saloon, but they saw no sign of him. Police investigated far and wide, even including the city's dumpsters and sewer system in their search, but not even the K-9 unit could find a trace of Brian. Brian's father consulted a psychic. He was told that Brian's body was resting in water near a bridge. He spent hours wading in the Olentangy River in Columbus, Ohio, with a search party, and they found nothing. Brian hasn't been seen since that night of April Fool's 2006. There has been several sightings of Brian, but they have turned out to be hoax. Almost everyone involved in Brian's life or who had been with him on the night of the disappearance agreed to take a lie detector test, except for Clint Florence, the friend who went out with Brian that night. Clint's attorney said he had nothing to hide. The two women who Brian was last seen with were identified by police and cleared of any suspicions. They weren't asked to take a polygraph test. I don't know why. Brian's girlfriend called Brian's cell phone every day to no avail. 6 months after Brian's disappearance, the phone rang. It pinged a tower in Columbus, Ohio. However, the phone company said it was just a glitch in the system. How strange. Rewards were offered, tip lines were set up, and Eddie Vedder, the lead singer of Pearl Jam, one of Brian's favorite bands, even took a break between songs during a concert in Cincinnati to ask for any information about Brian's disappearance. Brian's father, Randy, joined the families of other missing persons to successfully lobby the Ohio legislature to reform the state's law regarding missing persons case. Now Ohio has a more organized protocol for investigating missing persons case, a small relief for Brian's loved ones. In 2008, Brian's dad died in a backyard accident, and an online condolence book someone wrote to Dad loved Brian, leading many to believe that Brian was alive and well. However, police later concluded that the note was passed from a publicly accessible computer in Franklin County, Ohio, and it was determined to be a hoax. Theories on this case. Now, these theories are all alleged. There's no evidence to substantiate them. It's a possibility that Brian may have decided to just leave to start a new life due to being devastated because of his mother's death, or perhaps he committed suicide. Although I don't believe he killed himself. He had a bright future ahead of him. He was in med school, and that night he was celebrating final exams, and he didn't have too much longer to graduate. Another theory could be that perhaps he had an accident at the construction site behind the bar, and perhaps the owners got rid of him so they wouldn't be liable for an accident or death. Perhaps he had an accident and something happened and they just, got rid of any evidence just so that they wouldn't be liable. The next theory could be that he could have been a victim of these smiley face killings. Brian's disappearance fits the pattern. New York City retired detectives Gannon and Duarte believe that a serial murderer or group of killers preys upon college-age men as they leave parties or bars. Corpses are often left next to bodies of water. Although Brian's remains or Brian has not been found, it still kind of fits some of those characteristics of the smiley face killers. It also reminds me of what my previous last two videos has been about. Their strange disappearances, especially in regards to the 411 missing person cases. So Brian's case again reminds me too of Michael McLean's disappearance. He was seen at a bar with friends. At the end of the night, Michael's friends couldn't find him and he was never seen again that night. So there's another disappearance regarding a male going to the bar, college age. Also, it kind of reminds me too of those Manchester, UK canal deaths that David Paulides speaks about in the missing 411 UK cases. So it kind of goes in that same criteria, although currently nothing else has been heard regarding Brian's disappearance. My heart goes out to Brian's family and friends. I pray that one day they are reunited with their loved one. And thank you so much for watching.